What if you're a shapeshifter? In these 5 chapters, we will explore the art of formlessness, how to adapt, dissolve expectations, and master the invisible. This is the 48th, or the last law, of Robert Greene's powerful artwork, The 48 Laws of Power. Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "Human mind is like water. It takes the shape of its container, like water, which flows and fills any space." Formlessness is a quiet, yet profound power. But how can something so subtle be so effective? Let's step back and look deeper. If life is unpredictable, shouldn't we be too? Chapter 1. The Power of Shapelessness. To assume formlessness is to embrace adaptability. Like water, which molds itself to any vessel, a person who is fluid can flow through challenges, shifting tactics as needed. This law teaches that rigidity invites destruction. When you cling to fixed plans or strict identities, you become predictable, an easy target. A tree that resists the wind might snap. A reed that bends survives the storm. Philosophy of Stoicism aligns deeply with this idea. The Stoics often spoke of accepting the uncontrollable while adapting to what can be influenced. Epictetus taught that while we cannot control external events, we can control how we respond to them. Formlessness is not a lack of direction, it's the art of flexible response. Psychologically, this law ties to cognitive flexibility, the ability to shift thought patterns or approaches when the situation demands it. Research in 2004 showed that those who practiced cognitive flexibility were better at problem solving and reducing stress. This is because adaptability allows the brain to avoid fixating on a single path, thus creating options when the environment changes. To use this law for power, abandon attachment to rigid strategies. Keep others guessing by never fully revealing your form. You can change your style, tone, or pace, confusing those who attempt to pin you down. Yet this power must be applied with wisdom. Be clear on your ultimate purpose while remaining fluid in your tactics. If you don't want to be manipulated by it, look for patterns hidden beneath their fluidity. Even water flows downhill. Unpredictability often masks a deeper aim. Stay observant, and you can decipher their intentions. I know most of my viewers are Sigma. They don't want to get manipulated or being told what to do. In life, some may seem very agreeable and loyal, but never trust someone blindly. In embracing formlessness, you don't lose yourself. Instead, you free yourself to move in ways that others cannot predict. As the Taoists say, empty your mind, be formless, shape it as you need, then reshape it again. Chapter 2. Predictability is a weakness. Formlessness thrives because predictability is a vulnerability. The moment others can anticipate your actions, they gain control. Predictability becomes a cage, one that limits you and empowers those who study you. In war, business, or relationships, a rigid approach makes you easy to counter. Like a chess player who repeats the same moves, you will lose the game to someone who adapts and surprises. Philosophers like Heraclitus remind us that change is the only constant. Life itself is fluid, unpredictable, and constantly in motion. To resist change is to resist life itself. This principle applies to power. Refusing to adapt makes you obsolete. Leaders who cling to old methods fall behind. Fighters who rely on the same tricks are defeated. Psychologically, the status quo bias explains why many people stick to familiar routines, even when they don't serve them. This bias keeps individuals trapped, avoiding risk or change because the unknown feels threatening. But staying static is the greater risk. A study in 2013, Kahneman and Lavallo, showed that those who embraced uncertainty and varied their approaches achieved better long-term results. To use this law, become unpredictable in your decisions and strategies. Change your patterns, surprise your opponents, and never let anyone pin you down. This keeps people reactive while you remain in control. Think of a boxer who throws unexpected punches or a negotiator who shifts tactics mid-conversation. To defend against those who use this against you, ground yourself in principles, not reactions. While others shift unpredictably, anchor your responses to values or strategies you've chosen deliberately. Like a sailor adjusting to rough waters, you'll remain steady without being rigid. Predictability breeds complacency. Fluidity breeds freedom. To master this law is to live without chains, to flow with change rather than break against it. Chapter 3: Adaptability and the Illusion of Control. To assume formlessness is not to abandon control, but to redefine it. Control is often misunderstood as rigid domination, a false belief that one can dictate every outcome. Yet life's unpredictability humbles even the most powerful. Formlessness teaches us that true control lies in adaptability, in shifting with circumstances rather than resisting them. The Stoic philosopher Seneca offers insight. We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality. The desire for rigid control arises from fear of uncertainty, failure, or chaos. Yet, fear blinds us to opportunities for adjustment. By loosening your grip on rigid expectations, you see possibilities that others overlook. In psychology, the flexible mindset, as opposed to a fixed mindset, highlights this idea. Carol Dweck's research, 2006, showed that individuals with a flexible approach, believing they can grow, learn, and adapt, are far more successful than those who cling to fixed strategies or identities. Formlessness aligns perfectly with this mental model. When you're adaptable, failure becomes a pivot, not an end. To use this law, observe your environment closely. Instead of forcing outcomes, respond to what is unfolding. Like a skilled martial artist who adapts to an opponent's movements, you become powerful not by resisting force, but by redirecting it. For example, in negotiations, let the other party feel they are leading, but adapt and respond in ways that steer the result to your favor. To guard against someone using this law against you, focus on clarity and preparation while they flow and shift. Remain steady in your principles and goals. If someone's actions seem erratic, don't chase every move. Instead, step back, observe, and recognize the larger pattern. Formlessness is a dance with the unknown. It transforms obstacles into opportunities and makes you harder to oppose. To adapt is not to lose yourself. It is to master the art of change. Chapter 4: The Strength of Dissolving Identity. To assume formlessness extends beyond strategy. It touches identity itself. Most people build rigid identities. I am this kind of person, or I don't do that. While identity gives comfort, it also creates limits. The stronger your attachment to a fixed self, the easier it is for others to predict and control you. Formlessness demands that you loosen these boundaries, becoming what the moment requires. This idea is deeply rooted in the Taoist philosophy of Lao Tzu, who said, "When I let go of who I am, I become what I might be." By releasing a fixed identity, you gain freedom to evolve. A leader may need to be compassionate one day and ruthless the next. A negotiator may play the role of a listener in one moment and an assertive speaker in another. True power lies in the ability to dissolve and reshape yourself. Modern psychology connects this with self-concept flexibility. Research, Campbell et al. 1996, suggests that individuals who see themselves as adaptable, rather than locked into a single role or identity, experience less anxiety and perform better in high-pressure environments. They are harder to undermine because they don't cling to an identity that can be attacked or manipulated. To use this law, ask yourself, who do I need to be right now? In different situations, You can be the mentor, the enforcer, or the silent observer. For instance, if someone expects you to react emotionally, respond calmly instead. By defying expectations, you shift the power balance in your favor. To protect yourself from those who dissolve their form, stay rooted in your values, but not in your ego. Values anchor you, providing a core of integrity, while ego, the need to prove yourself, makes you easy to manipulate. When you become adaptable in identity, you are not false. You are fluid. Like water that flows through cracks, you fill the role that the moment demands while retaining your essence. In that flexibility, you hold quiet strength, able to shift without being shattered. Chapter 5. Mastering the Art of the Invisibility. The ultimate power of formlessness is the ability to disappear when needed. Not literally, of course. To be visible and easily defined means to invite attack. When others cannot fully grasp your plans, intentions, or nature, they are left in uncertainty. Formlessness allows you to remain ungraspable, like mist slipping through fingers. Sun Tzu, in The Art of War, speaks of this principle. Be extremely subtle, even to the point of formlessness. Be extremely mysterious, even to the point of soundlessness. He knew that the strongest move is sometimes no move at all, appearing absent while quietly shaping the battlefield. Psychologically, this law connects to the concept of strategic ambiguity. Research and negotiation studies, Shell, 2006, highlights that when people intentionally remain vague or unpredictable, they gain leverage. Their opponents waste energy trying to interpret unclear signals, creating confusion and hesitation. By staying ambiguous, you maintain control over the unfolding situation. To use this law for power, practice the art of withholding. Do not reveal your entire plan, intentions, or emotions too quickly. Keep others guessing about your next move or true capacity. At work, maintain a quiet presence while subtly influencing outcomes. In competition, appear passive or disinterested while preparing your decisive action. Like a shadow, you move unseen until the moment is right to emerge. To defend against formlessness, avoid acting out of impatience or frustration. Uncertainty often provokes rash decisions. Resist the urge to force clarity when someone is intentionally ambiguous. Instead, focus on gathering reliable information, staying patient, and preparing for multiple outcomes. Their invisibility will lose its edge when you build resilience to uncertainty. In mastering formlessness, you gain depth, like the ocean, whose surface may seem calm but whose depths hold unseen power. You remain composed, yet capable of unseen action. When others cannot find your edges, they cannot pin you down. In the quiet, in the invisible, lies your greatest advantage. Thanks for watching.